Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. I'm at Michael Russo's new house, and it's spectacular. I feel privileged. I was able to pass all the security tests to be able to allow it to be let in. And so I'll tell you the things I like about your place and things I don't like about your place.
Okay.
I love the helipad. I think that's great. Dignitaries can just land in your backyard and walk right up. I think your butler's a little pushy.
Yeah.
The moat, I think, is a little overdone.
Yeah, well, that's to keep Russo's slacks out.
Yeah, well, it's and good luck with that. And I love that your Wi-Fi password is Grey Poupon.
Yeah,
I think that fits you.
Exactly. I have multiple Wi-Fi passwords for this place, depending on the people.
And he wouldn't even tell me what they were.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, no, it's been cool so far. As you can see, I've done a lot of unpacking.
Actually, your place looks great.
No, it's really nice. Amazing how much I've gotten done. Greenlight's coming over to hang some stuff today. Yep, he got concerned.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I'm just not sure what it is.
Well, that guy, he's handy. But I think he got concerned the other day when I asked him that when I use the stud finder, when I find the stud, does that mean I hang it there or don't hang it there? And I wasn't even kidding.
When he does something like when he has to get down on the ground or something, he just go butterfly.
Yeah. That's a good question. I'll ask him that. The other thing he got concerned about is I told him I was using like the 3M command strips to hang stuff, and he's like, "Let me just come over." And then he doesn't even know that I have other things on a list to ask him. Like, hey, if I wanted to do this,
Does he carry his Moscow Mule mug everywhere he goes?
Yeah, he does. So that'll be fun to get some stuff hung, and then I'm pretty much done. I got a couple blinds to hang up. And then when you move into a place in the middle of winter, there's still a lot of stuff exterior that they've got to do. So still got a patio to build, a driveway, a sidewalk, some grass.
Well, my wife will be over because she's looking for ideas for our place. Nice. So she'll be checking.
Well, I'm nothing if not a designer.
That's exactly what you took the words right out of her mouth.
Yeah,
that's why they're never in her mouth.
Yeah.
This is the Russo-Souhan Show, and we are going to talk hockey after a big loss against the Avalanche. We're talking here on a Wednesday morning after the Tuesday night loss. This show is part of the TalkNorth.com podcast network. Great people on the network: Roy Smalley, Jeff Diamond, John Krasinski, Cheryl Reeve, Tim Yoder, et cetera, et cetera. Check out TalkNorth.com, subscribe at iTunes, whatever. Thanks to Brandon, our producer. If you want to advertise with us, you can reach us at TalkNorthPodcast@gmail.com. Please download before you listen, and you follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod for live show times, etc. Thanks to our current sponsors, Twill and the Edina Galleria, BiteSquad.com, Fixology Repair, and Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent Champlin. I think Tony has a question for you later. Let's start with this. It's so easy this time of the year to say, okay, big loss, okay, big win. The reality is, they're just kind of treading water. They're 1 point out. They could go forwards. They could go backwards. So how do you judge their situation as of this morning?
They're not good enough. I mean, they're just not good enough. You don't go 2-6-3, I think, in their last, whatever that would be, 11 home games. That's wrong, actually.
We get the point, though.
Yeah. They went. They went 0-3-1 on that 4-game homestand in late February, where they blew 2 huge leads against the Flyers and the Devils, and then they went 1-3-1 on this homestand. So that's 1-6 and 2. You don't do that in the last 9 home games and expect to make the playoffs. They're just not good enough. They're not going to suddenly go 8-0 down the stretch here, and they're definitely not going to go 5-0 on the road. They never win in Washington. Let me just tell you, they better not take the Hurricanes lightly. That team will light them up. They might be the fastest team I've seen this year. Just watching them a lot lately, that is a fast team. So I mean, this is I hate to say it's over, but it's like I told you on the last podcast. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're not good enough. They're just not, especially when you take away the fact that Granlund, Coyle, and Niederreiter are gone. And this is kind of what I wrote, when I prepped the fans, that sources were telling me that Paul Fenton had the ability to do whatever he wanted in February, even if it meant taking a step back and not making the playoffs. And this is the reality. You look around the room, and there's a bunch of guys that, give you hope because they're 22 years old, but they should not be in top 9 roles right now. Like Jordan Greenway, Luke Cunnin, even Ryan Donato, although I thought he was fabulous last night, Kevin Fiala. These guys are going to be good players at some point, but they're not top 9 guys for a team that wants to make the playoffs right now. That is the reality. And we're seeing it. If Stahl, Parise, and Zucker don't produce, this team has no chance, and we're seeing that right now. I think that it's going to be a painful next 3 or 4 games. And let's be honest on this one. If they don't go 3-0 in the next 3 games against Nashville at home and in Raleigh and Washington, what do you think is going to happen during those 4 or 5 off days next week between the time that they play Nashville and in Vegas? The standings are going to pretty much spread apart. And they've had so many opportunities last week of teams losing. Arizona, giving them the opportunity by taking care of business, so to speak, and losing in Tampa. The season would have ended right there if they'd won in Tampa. So here they constantly just don't take advantage of their opportunities. So this is just the reality of the situation, and even if they somehow squeaked in, what are they going to do in the playoffs? But they're not squeaking in. They're not. I mean, I hate to tell you.
I really also think that, Bruder brought it up a month ago or whatever. I think the LA Kings, by sneaking in that one time as an 8 seed and winning it all, have kind of cast this unrealistic version of what can happen with an 8 seed. I mean,
Drew Doughty, Anze Kopitar, Jeff Carter. I think Mike Richards was on that team. A young Tyler Toffoli and Tanner Pearson. Jonathan Quick and net. That was not a real 8th team. Every player I just mentioned is better than anybody on the Wild. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So,
hey, tonight, if you hear this in time, tonight, Wednesday, March 20th, before I head down to Des Moines to cover Gopher men's basketball, we're going to run the Cheryl Reeve Show at the Poorhouse in downtown Minneapolis. The Minnesota Whitecaps are going to come by, show off the trophy, and join us. So if you're a hockey fan, like women's hockey, like women's sports, show up there. We are working on finding the Russo Show another live home, and hopefully we'll have some news for you on that front soon. And we want to thank our long-running loyal sponsor, Twill in the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com. Check them out at Twill on Instagram. Beautiful photos of all their stuff. Or on their website, sportswear, outerwear, tailored clothing, accessories, great gift ideas, great brands. I wear them all the time. And, of course, this time of the year, great time to go in and freshen up your golf and outdoor apparel.
Jim usually doesn't like to shop for clothes. I don't like it when he shops for clothes either, because he used to buy stuff I'd want to throw out. That's why I'm so glad he's found Twill in the Edina Galleria. He likes shopping there because of the comfortable environment and the friendly staff. He finds clothes that actually fit him properly and are high-quality brands that will look great for years, whether he's golfing or working. Our favorites so far are Peter Millar, Johnny O, and Barber. We spend our money at Twill because we love the clothes and we love the no-pressure shopping. Drop by Twill in the Edina Galleria for the best shopping experience and best clothes you'll find in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, it's springtime now. I think everybody should
go
to
to Twill. How about that?
Well, I mean, look at the weather outside.
Absolutely.
And apparently this weekend it's going to be unbelievable.
In fact, closed circuit to Scott Dayton. We still need to get out and do a show at your place. We keep kind of with the travel schedule. We haven't gotten that done. But if we don't do it this season, we'll definitely do it this summer.
Is there a helipad on top of the Galleria? Because I could just take that.
That's a good point. Yeah. I'm sure there is. Yeah. Absolutely. So, the Avalanche game, I thought it was a classic case of the Wild being good enough to give themselves a million chances, not good enough to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's typical of them. They make one mistake, breakaway, it ends up in their net. But they miss Zucker misses the empty net. Stahl doesn't get all of a one-timer and is robbed. Zucker has another shot that is so much embodied this season that gets through Grubauer and then trickles somehow wide of the post. Victor Rask has a freaking breakaway essentially and loses the puck and stick handles in the corner. Kevin Fiala is turning pucks over left and right on the power play. How about that? Ryan Donato on the 4th and 5th power plays the game before against the Islanders sets up 2 goals. And then what does Dean Evison do to start yesterday? Puts Fiala back on the number 1 unit. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me. And there just comes a point like...
Is that Evison hearing something from
Probably.
Fenton?
I don't know. I mean, but there comes a point, like you asked Bruce about this, and Bruce is like, I don't pick the power play guys. Well, there just comes a point, too, is like your job, you are going to get fired in 8 games. There comes a point you've got to do it your way, right? I kind of got why Kevin Fiala started the game with Luke Cunnin and Jordan Greenway yesterday over Donato. Look, anybody that is attached to Aberg and Rask right now is drawing the short straw. But last night's a perfect example where you don't have Koivu and you don't have Eriksson Ek, so you got to go with Cunnin against the McKinnon line. And so I think they wanted the speed of Fiala there, which I absolutely get. But then what happens when they change Donato and Fiala? The game opens up and the Wild have a ton of chances. Like Donato last night was fabulous. I love that move by Fenton. It was time for Coyle to go. To me, it was time for Niederreiter to go too, but they should have gotten more.
Get enough.
Yeah. So that's that simple. I still don't know. I don't think Fiala is going to become the player that.
What do you think's missing?
Well, he definitely doesn't have the finish yet. I'm still trying to walk the fence a little bit because he's 22, and that could come. But he has goals in 1 of 11 games with the Wild. That's not a quote game breaker. And he just coughs up pucks left and the turnovers are extraordinary. How many times he turns the puck over. It's crazy that a player this good is so reckless. Last night, I didn't think that it could get worse than the Islander game. Last night was worse. The power play, the one where he's skating the ice and just is stripped. He's a minus 17 on the season, and he came from a first-place team. That's just, it's not going to happen until he buys in and protects the puck a little more. You can't just continually cough up pucks the way that he does. So, I don't know. And then the other thing is, that's another thing. Like, if the number 1 unit is going to play a minute 40 of every power play, then Brad Hunt needs to be on it over Suter. Same thing in the last minute of the game. Like, I'd rather Hunt, but Ryan's the boss. Mm-hmm. It's nuts to me.
What cracks me up about Suter is when he does speak to the media, it's always like this gee shucks, gee whiz. It's kind of like Joe Mauer speak.
And look, I like Ryan a lot, but his way of talking to the media, like the other night when I asked him about the winning goal, he does it in such a polite, nice way. It's almost like, please don't trash me.
Right.
It's like he's trying to, treat everyone with the most respect. He always ends his interviews with sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say more.
So I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating. And there just comes a point where it's like, it just comes a point where maybe Bruce just wants to say, maybe Bruce is like, you know what? I'll just go down with the ship. Because if you're the coach, do you and again, I'm not trying to rip into the stuff that Fenton's done here, but just think of this from a global standpoint now. If you're Bruce Boudreau, how have you been helped this season? Last summer, the additions of Greg Pattern, who I actually think has been for the most part good. He went through a really tough month in the middle of the season, but he does his job. He is what he is. He's a 6. He's a 5 or a 6. He's playing up because of the Dumba injury. But even since he's been back with Brodin, to me, he's been fine for the most part. If he's playing 20 minutes, I know fans go crazy sometimes with his turnovers or his, but he is what he is. He's a 6 playing 4 right now. So, I don't blame him for that. So, Pattern, okay? But JT Brown, playing better lately, but let's be honest, has not done anything this season.
Right.
Eric Fair, he is what he is. He's had a good year, but he is what he is. He's a 4th-line center at this point in his career. Matt Hendricks was a 16th forward in the NHL, but came here to take care of the locker room. And let me just promise you, when he went to Winnipeg, I pretty much guarantee you that he was like, okay, That locker room was worse than I thought it was.
Really?
That's just my guess. And then in the season, Donato's been awesome, but Rask